Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to BathroomBrewsMTG, the YouTube channel where I'll take my bad ideas, and sometimes yours, and turn them into something you won't want to flush away. On this week's episode of Bathroom Brews, we'll be going over an archetype that I love for Modern. Now, this archetype might require about 100 or even 300 IQ to play. No, I don't mean Storm, and I don't mean Amulet Titan or any degenerate combo deck. I'm talking about the one, the only, Mono Green Tron. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Modern format, Mono Green Tron is a deck that's entire purpose is to get out Urza's Tower, Power Plant, and Mine. Once you have all these lands out, you can tap them for a total of 7 mana. Power Plant and Mine can tap for 2 each, and Tower taps for 3, and you ramp into threats like Karn Liberated or Ugin the Spirit Dragon to win the game. Now, you might be thinking, hey, how do we get these 3 lands out of a 100-card singleton deck that's not Modern, that has 60 cards and 4 copies of each? Well, great question. And to start that off, let's look at the commander. Kira, the Boundless Sky, is a 5 mana, 3 generic, 2 green for a 4/4 flying death touch that says, when this creature dies, choose one. Search your library for up to 3 land cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, then shuffle. Or create an XX green spirit creature token where X is the number of lands you control. And just one piece of news before we get into the rest of the video. My Patreon is officially live. I have a link in the video description below. If you want to keep supporting the channel for free, just go ahead and leave a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, leave any feedback or deck suggestions in the comment section below, ring that bell to get notifications when all my videos go live, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. As always, I'll have a link to the deck in the video description below. And with all that out of the way, let's get into the rest of this video. The first objective for any Tron deck is to, well, get Tron out. I have a number of cards that let us tutor the Tron lands either into our hand or onto the battlefield. Expedition Map, Sylvan Scrying, and Nyalia's Intervention lets us search our library for those Tron lands and put them into our hand, while Crop Rotation, Elvish Reclaimer, which is Crop Rotation on a stick, and the new Titania's Command from the Brothers War lets us search Tron lands out of our deck and put them onto the battlefield tapped. While we're on the topic of lands, there is a new Urza's land I'd like to mention that came out in the Brothers War. Urza's Workshop is a colorless land that you can tap to add 1 colorless, or tap, add 1 colorless for each Urza's land you control, activate only if you control 3 or more artifacts. Okay, so if I'm doing this math right, the 3 original Tron lands will tap for a total of 7 mana, plus this new Workshop that will add 4 mana if we have all 3 of them out. Then that's 4 plus 7, which is 11. Oh, God, I love this. So what can we use this heap of mana on? Some of my favorite ramp targets are Pathrazer of Ulamog, Ulamog's Crusher, and Oblivion Sower. I also made sure to include some X spells, because what's the point if we can't use all of that mana? Stonecoil Serpent, Endless One, and Hangerback Walker could become massive threats early, or even late game when we pump a ton of mana into them. You might have noticed a lot of the cards I've included have been colorless, so I'm going to throw in Liberator Urza's Battlethopter. This is a new card from the Brothers War that lets us cast colorless spells as though they had flash, and gets larger as we cast more colorless spells. Some honorable mentions I would like to go over are Thragtusk, Mere Battlesphere, and Worldbreaker. Now these were in the budget Mono Green Tron list I played a while ago, so they might not be the best in the deck, but I wanted to include them because they're on theme and they're fun. If you want to cut them, go for it. There's no right or wrong answers. It's a casual format. Have fun with it. There's one more subsection of cards I'd like to discuss real quick, because they might seem a little weird if you're looking at just the deck list. Ashnod's Altar, Altar of Dementia, and Greater Good. I included these 3 cards as a way to sacrifice our commander so we can get that death trigger to get the Tron lands out of our deck. Okay, so let's go over how the deck's going to play. Much like Modern Tron, we're going to want to aggressively mulligan to make sure we can hit Tron as early as possible, or ramp into our commander so we can get those lands out of the deck. Don't forget, we do have a free mulligan in commander, and even if we're going first, we will draw a card. Don't be afraid to aggressively mulligan if your hand doesn't have any ramp, Tron lands, or ways to get Tron lands from your library. Our primary win condition with this deck will be beating face with Big Eldrazi. Some non-budget upgrades I would definitely consider to help the deck win would be Karn Liberated, Walking Ballista, and Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Now, Karn Liberated and Walking Ballista were just reprinted in Jumpstart 2022, but we don't yet have the price of those printings, so I've decided to exclude them from this deck because we just don't know their price. Ugin the Spirit Dragon was reprinted in a core set not too long ago, but I couldn't quite fit it into this deck's budget. Some other creatures I would consider for this deck, and I almost included but couldn't quite fit, was Wormcoil Engine, which was just reprinted in the Brothers War, Kozilek Butcher of Truth, and Ulamog the Infinite Gyre, both of which were reprinted in Double Masters 2022. They're still about $20 each, so they're very expensive, but they're much cheaper than they have been in recent history, and I couldn't recommend these upgrades enough. Honestly, if you have any of the Eldrazi Titans laying around, you should probably put them into this deck. The last 3 upgrades I will mention is Ensnaring Bridge, Trinisphere, and Realms Uncharted. The first 2 are pseudo stacks pieces meant to slow our opponents down, and Realms Uncharted lets us tutor for all 4 of our Tron lands, putting 2 in our hand and 2 into the graveyard. If you decide to add Realms Uncharted, I'd consider adding ways to play lands from your graveyard, such as Crucible of Worlds, Ramunap Excavator, or Ancient Green Warden. I'll have a link to the deck in the video description below, and under the considering section on the webpage, you can see all the upgrades I would consider. And with that, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Again, my Patreon is live, so if you want to support me through there, I'll have a link in the video description below. Otherwise, you can keep supporting the channel for free by giving this video a like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, leave a comment below with any feedback or deck suggestions you would like to see, subscribe, ring that bell to get notifications that all my videos go live, and this has been Ben with BathroomBrewsMTG, and remember, always wash your hands.